Today we're headed to Berry, Texas. We're going to be out in the middle of a 1,000-acre cattle ranch. Going to do some swinging out on an old homestead dating back to the early 1900s. Welcome to Texas Digging. Alright guys, kind of got the hole started. It's a kind of a low 60s signal. Pretty high pitched, pretty solid. Not sure what it is. Feel it down in here in the hole. See if we can find it. Carrot stick's vibrating. Oh guys, this is cool. Get some of the mud off of it here. I thought at first it might have been a coin when I was pulling it out. Sorry for the long pause. It's got a little mud on it. This is actually, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, this is an old button. I'm trying to get some of the mud out from underneath. It's actually in pretty decent condition. It's bent there in the center. But this is an old button. You know, a lot of guys collect these buttons, old Civil War buttons and military type buttons. This certainly is not that. But we'll have to do a little research and figure out just how old it is. But this is an old metal button. Kind of rang up low 60s, bounced into the 50s a little bit, but it was a solid signal, so I dug it. Glad I did. That's a really cool find for out here. Nice old button there. Awesome. Let's fill in the hole. Go see what else we can find. Okay guys, got a real strong signal here. Got some of the dirt pulled away. It's all over the place here. I can see what I think it is. It's running in the 90s and bouncing back into the 80s. I'm gonna try to get underneath it. Guys, I'll tell you what I think this is. I think it's a pewter plate is what it looks like. Maybe wrong. Yeah, look at that. That's actually pretty cool. Based upon the signal, have to clean it off a little bit, get it washed up. But I believe that might be a pewter plate. It's running in the low to mid 90s, bouncing a little bit, bounces back into the 80s. But I'm just looking at the design. It's been flattened out. You can see the ring. Kind of runs around here, and then you have the center plate area. Looks like it's probably about 7 to 8 inches in diameter or wide, however you want to call it. I think it's going to be a pewter plate. Maybe wrong. If you got any ideas what you think it might be, put them in the comments. We'll get it cleaned up and maybe see if it turns out to be something else. I don't think it's a lid. I don't see where it seals. I mean, some people might say it looks like a little lid to a can or maybe a paint can. There doesn't really seem to be any way to seal it down. I think it's just bent up and flat, and could be a pewter plate. I guess we'll wait and see when we get it cleaned up. But if you got any ideas on it, put it in the comments. We'll fill in this hole and get on to the rest of the dig. Okay guys, I got the hole pretty much dug, having a little trouble finding it. I get a vibration, but it's down in there. It's ringing about a solid 80 on the Garrett. It's in here somewhere. It's in my hand. It's not very big. I thought we had a coin, but I don't see a coin. What is that? Oh, here it is. This is really cool. This is a shell cartridge. Looks like maybe small caliber. I don't know, you certainly can't see it on the camera here, but it's got a stamp of US on it, on the brass. Have to do a little bit of research. Cartridges, or we call it brass these days. Companies that made this ammunition would put their stamp or their emblem or their marking to represent their company on the backs of these brass. A lot like a cow rancher would brand his cattle. They put a stamp on the bottom of their brass. And this one says US on it. We'll get it cleaned up. Like I said, probably have to do a little bit of research, find out just how old it is. Kind of looks like a rim shot, maybe a 22 or a 32 caliber. But we'll get it cleaned up, do a little research, get back to you on it. But I think that's a really cool find right there. Nice little piece of brass ammunition cartridge. Cool deal. Let's fill in the hole. We'll see what else we can find. Alright guys, just want to do a quick wrap up of the metal detecting we did out on an old homestead out in Berry, Texas. And obviously we found our share of junk, as anybody will always do when you do these types of digs. So we have our pile here, and this is just a sample of some of the stuff we found. There was more to it than that. Then we found a few various caps and things, odds and ends. Right here, nice little odd cap. Not sure what that went to. Maybe a snuff can lid here. It rang up, you know, high silver. We find those things a lot on these old homesteads. One of the neat things I think we found out there's this old pewter plate. It's what I think this is. It's been flattened. Obviously, it's not in very good shape, but you can see the inner ring, outer rings. It's coming apart on the edges here. But rang up, you know, high 80s, mid to high 80s. So I really believe that's what that's going to be, is a pewter plate. Again, not very good condition, but still a really cool deal right there. Found these old ends to shotgun shells here. Not sure of the gauge, but if you have any thoughts on these, you know, go ahead and put those down there in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. But these are actually kind of neat finds too. Some of the really cool relics we found, they don't seem like much, but found this old shell casing. It says US on the bottom of the brass here. And after doing a little research and throwing it out there to social media to some of the ammunition experts that know more about this than I do, found out that US stamp actually came from the United States Cartridge Company in Lowell, Massachusetts. And what makes that very interesting is that company went into business in 1869 and went out of business, sold to the Winchester Company in 1927. So this is an old shell casing right here. Doesn't seem like much, but that is kind of a neat deal right there. Then we found this old button. Nothing real special about the button, but it is an older button, late 1800s, early 1900s. A little bent right there in the middle, as you can see. But it probably came off the average working man's shirt. And again, it's not decorative. It's pretty common. Just an old-fashioned, like I said, late 1800s, early 1900s button there. Not metal, but found this in the walkway going up to the old homestead. This is a Whitesell cherry red Corsicana brick. Interesting thing about Mr. Whitesell, he moved from Tennessee to Texas in 1870, went to work for a lumber company here in Corsicana, and in 1875 started making bricks. He died in 1915. A little bit later, not long after that, I believe the brick company was sold to the Magnolia Corporation in Dallas. But to find this particular brick out on this old homestead, that dates back to the early 1900s is really a cool deal, because just again knowing the history of where this brick came from, it's in really, really good shape for its age. And bricks like this on eBay right now go for about 20-25 bucks a piece in this current condition. So not metal, but it's still a really cool historical find out there. I sure had a good time digging around out at this old homestead, and I sure hope you had a good time watching this video. Hey everybody, thank you for watching. Would you just take a quick second and hit that subscribe button? I sure would appreciate it. That way you'll be notified with each and every new Texas Dig-'em adventure. By all means, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Until next time, we'll see you right here on Texas Dig-'em.